Hi, Jessica. I'm so glad that we're able to talk like this and get to know each other.
Thank you.
What was it like before you became a Habitat homeowner? Can you tell me a little bit about your living situation?
Well, I was living in a flood area where I was renting an apartment, and it was constantly getting flood, and I was at the time working full time and attending Rutgers full time,
Oh
and
boy.
yeah,
And you had kids?
and I had kids,
A family? The
a
whole thing?
family. We have 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl, my husband and I. And the first storm that we experienced was the nor'easter, and that pushed us.
Was that Hurricane Sandy?
No, the nor'easter.
Oh, the nor'easter.
I believe that was in 2010,
Oh, yes.
and where we was homeless for 9 months.
Ah.
So we were back and forth from flood zones, hotel, then Saraville, then
Going to school.
Going to school.
With 4 kids and a work and a job.
yes.
Wowee. And so how did the Habitat application or the knowledge of Habitat for Humanity, how did you learn about Habitat?
I learned about Habitat in my third storm.
Oh,
My second storm was Irene, and my third storm was Sandy. And during Sandy, we went to 3 locations. Well, I just got home from school, and we had to pack up our stuff and get out per local police. The first homeless shelter.
How are you feeling about that?
It was a quick, as a mom, as a wife. It was, you had to have a quick solution. We weren't prepared on what to grab. We weren't prepared on the important documents, but for us, having 4 children and them being in school, us working, we know that birth certificate, passports, social security, marriage license, that is what we aimed for. First, the driver's license, your purse. Photos were amazingly lost in the Barrington River somewhere, the old bag. But our first shelter was in Woodbridge Community Center, where there was no showers or for a couple of days. And we have some stories to share with the mayor of Woodbridge on there. It was amazing, the stories that I have to say of Woodbridge Community Center are really good to us. The second shelter was in Homeowner in a Catholic community church. And then the third shelter was a blessing because they placed us in Piscataway in Rutgers University in the gym, where I was able to just hop on the bus and go to school.
I can't imagine. I think I would have been under the bed sucking my thumb and my kids going, Mom, Mom.
Yeah, well, Rutgers University was a good community to be placed at because I met Fern. She is a volunteer for Rutgers University, and she right away adopted us, and she took my son and said, hey, I'm going to ask all the ladies if I can wash any important clothes and take it to my house. And she took my son Andrew, where they washed our underpants, socks, because there were showers in Rutgers. And one day my husband, his daily routine was take me to work first, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, shower, because we had a certain hour to shower, and it was 1 shower per day. And so at 5 o'clock in the morning, me and another lady, where she was actually homeless with her 2 older daughters that attended New Brunswick High School, we slept next to each other. We woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning because we had to go to work. So he would take me to work first, take my kids to school, come back to the shelter, then go pick up the kids at school, bring them back to the shelter, do homework, and then pick me up at work. And food wasn't promised, of course, but Fern became my best friend. We're still friends to today.
Did she introduce you to the Habitat program?
She sure did. I was going to work with my husband, and she calls me on the phone. She's like, Jess, give me a paper and a pen. And she sent me the newspaper clipping, which I still have, where the applications were open for a Habitat home in Highland Park, where the merger for Middlesex and I believe it was Union County
Yes,
were
the
merging.
Greater Plainfield and Middlesex.
So that's, and she said, you're going to apply and you're going to get it. And I'm like, okay, I'll try my best because, it was not that easy, to.
Oh, I can't
Yeah.
imagine with all of this. Now you have an application. I mean, that's tough because you have to get together all those documents like
Yes.
W-2s and,
Yeah.
your bank reports and your tax returns, your bank statements. So now you get selected, and then on top of this, you're building a house, right? Did you do that?
Yeah, well, it was a process to maintain your credit, above a certain, the orientation, the lottery process, the sweat equity.
How long did that whole process take you?
I want to say probably a month or two.
Okay,
It was a process.
for the actual application, but then
Yeah.
once you got selected, you were selected.
Yeah.
And then you guys, how long did it take to build your house?
Oh my goodness, it took probably a year.
Okay.
Probably a year. Yeah.
And where
after-
were you living during that time?
In Saraville, on top of a bar.
Oh.
Yeah, and
so
it
you went
was-
out there and really did that sweat equity to build that house.
We did, and we while we left the children with my mom, we were committed. We enjoyed it. We met new people, and
What did you learn?
oh my goodness, I learned the saw and the miter. But my favorite part of building was the hammer.
Oh, okay, because miter box and that whole miter stuff, that's difficult because it's precise.
Yeah. So that's.
You know how to hold a hammer.
Yeah, I know how to hammer.
Because we say, we'll teach you. You don't even have to know. So now you can teach others, right?
Yeah.
And what kind of work did you do on the house?
I did the walls,
Uh-huh.
painted, any tools that needed to be handed to Tom Wesco. And I helped with, handing out the water sometimes and nailing the roof,
Yeah.
on top of the roof, the attic.
Wow. And then they had a dedication for you? Did they do a dedication or a house blessing?
We did the dedication within ourselves because
Okay.
my situation was I needed to move out of.
Do things very
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah.
We wanted to get away from, not saying that living on top of a bar is bad, but when you have children, young children that have to go to school and be up at a certain time,
Yeah.
we were crazy to.
The hours were not in line.
Yeah, and we just grew out of that apartment as well.
I can only imagine. I have 4 kids myself, so I can only imagine. And then we met because
Yes.
now Mars Habitat has, we acquired the service area of Greater Plainfield and Middlesex County and got to know each other because I asked you to serve on our board. And our board was like, wow, like where has she been? So you've been on our board. So now you're actually my boss now. I have to be very nice. So how is that experience? I know that's fairly new for you.
It is. It is.
And what does that feel like?
It feels great. I feel honored to be on the board and to serve the community. I want to serve more. And that was my focus when we, agreed on the house, was to continue paying it forward.
Yeah.
Because, Blair, we need more volunteers out there. We need more people to learn what Habitat for Humanity means and what their focus. We need to just grab more attention,
Yeah.
I believe.
And advocacy, and you've been terrific, and your voice on the board has been very important from a point of view of somebody who's actually gone through the program. Is there you just shared some of your vision, what other kinds of thoughts do you have for your role, because it's a 2-3 year term, so
Yeah.
hopefully you'll be on for the whole 6 years.
Yeah. Well, I spoke to one of my coworkers. We're really close, and she's all about community. So she invited me out to lunch, and we started talking. And I said, I want to get the word out there. Is there any way you can help me? You're the organizer. Your community. So she started collaborate. She made a few calls. I reached out to you. She reached out to Passaic County, and they're helping her, and
Oh, good.
she's excited.
That's
And
good.
my goals is to make more communities aware, because I didn't know of that habitat even existed.
Right, and here you are living in the situation that was difficult,
Yeah,
and I'm sure there was stress.
a lot.
And so what's it like, compare the two? What's it
Well-
like now, because you've been a homeowner for how long?
Five, going on 6 years, I
6
believe.
years, that's a
Yeah.
long time now. It probably feels like that was
Yeah.
another family, I guess, right?
Well, mental stability was exercised to the highest power.
By having that stability.
And time management. Don't forget, I was homeless during finals. I had to graduate because Rutgers University, it is a state university, and they're not cheap.
Oh, right.
So, and working full time, and I had to keep my mental state of mind in a positive reinforcement, because I had 4 children. I said, hey, look, mom,
Yeah.
we dropped mommy off at work,
Yeah.
So time management and mental stability to reinforce the positive for my children.
And what about the difference between your living situation before you became a homeowner and now as a homeowner? Has that changed, and the impact on the kids?
Oh, we have no more floods. We have no more loud music. We have no more drunk people walking around peeing in the backyard. So, that has changed. My kids are more involved in recreational activities. And due to COVID, that's, everyone knows there was a pause to that, but we made it happen by putting it in our driveway, a basketball court.
Oh, good.
And a backyard where they call me Snow White, because I have a rabbit, I have deers, I have black squirrels, okay?
Oh, my
And I have all the
goodness.
beautiful birds. And that is like the most favorite part of the house.
Do you have barbecues or picnics back there?
I do. I like
Could you
every
do that
weekend.
before?
No. We couldn't do it before because the bar was there. There would be unwanted attention.
Yeah. So that's got to be really nice. It's something some of us take for granted.
Yeah.
Just to have a little barbecue with family and friends, right?
Mhm.
What was it like to celebrate your first holiday?
Oh
in
my
the house?
goodness. It was very memorable. My mom came over, my dad came over, and it was just like, wow. It was a warm feeling that I still have, pictures on my Google, and I still reflect back on those moments.
So, we're here to really introduce ourselves to Middlesex County and let the mayors know and council people and corporations know that there's, this is us. We're here in your backyard. We're your employees. We're your employees. We're your constituents in your town. And our kids go to your schools, and we know what we need: affordable places to live. And so we're hoping that your story will help underscore that need. So what what would you say to anybody who might be in your situation hearing this? What would you say to them?
Well, I met a lot of good people while being homeless. Never did I think that would happen to me. Being the only employee of my household, one check household, trying to strive to break the glass ceiling. I want them to know it is possible. It is possible to maintain that credit score. It is possible to have that dream and live that dream. It is possible to have a job, to attend school full time, be homeless, and take care of your children.
Yeah, that's wonderful, Jessica. It's really wonderful. And how are your kids today?
They're spoiled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're-
We have a support group going.
Yeah, they're really, they have it. There's nothing that they don't need.
Yeah.
And they're very humble kids, and hopefully in the future you'll have future volunteers.
Yes. Yeah. And board members
and board members.
or employees.
Yes.
We're looking for succession planning.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for this.
No,
It's
thank you for having me.
really helpful, and hopefully I did good as your employee. She's my boss. It's true.